You know, there's been some stories before about the Panthers and little things here about Huey, but I don't think, definitely not this part of the story has been told.
Where am I supposed to go?
You should check out Bert. He's willing to do whatever it takes.
They're expecting you at every crossing.
Hey, that's why I'm leaving the country.
You're gonna need disguises, transportation.
You're the hot shot producer, man. Produce this.
Now, I want to know, when you first read this script, and obviously I'm sure you knew who Huey was, but you know, understanding and realizing his relationship with Bert and making it come to life, what was your first initial reaction?
My first reaction was skepticism. I wasn't sure I believed this relationship between the two of them. And I was concerned about, you know, whose point of view the story is being told from. It felt important to me that it definitely be told from Huey's point of view, and that it be, you know, his experience that we're mostly interested in. So then going through the process of like doing the research and I got more and more excited about the possibility of playing him. He's such a complicated character, you know. So just as like a character study from an acting point of view, it's like, man, this would be tough, you know, to figure out. And then, you know, the opportunity to learn about this period of history was also really enticing to me too. And then in the doing of it, you know, it was challenging and also interesting to figure out ways to like craft the relationship between him and Bert so that it felt believable, you know what I mean, for the audience.
I think initially Bert saw some of these radical leftist movements as a way of reinventing himself, because he'd made a lot of money producing the Monkees television show, and the world was changing and there was like a new counterculture and he didn't want to be left behind. And this was a kind of way of like legitimizing himself and trying on a new outfit. And I think that changed when he met Huey. And from everything that he said about Huey and everything I've read about it, about what, you know, his relationship with Huey, he was just completely obsessed with him and thought he was the smartest man he'd ever met. He couldn't believe how self-taught he was under the, you know, circumstance of being in solitary confinement in prison, and he just thought he was the most charismatic, magnetic, powerful personality that he'd ever met, and he was determined to help him succeed.
You know, there's been some stories before about the Panthers and little things here about Huey, but I don't think, definitely not this part of the story has been told. I think even if you know things about the Panthers, you're probably not going to know exactly how he got to Cuba. You just know, oh, sure, he was in exile in Cuba, but you're like, wait, what? There was this whole Hollywood connection that got him to Cuba. It's such an interesting thing, right? And so I just think it's a really great way for people to learn about the movement and about Huey and about Gwen, because I feel like not enough people don't know about the women of the movement. So I'm glad to like introduce another woman of the movement.
What made you decide to tell this story about Huey and Bert?
I literally read the article that Josh Berman wrote, and I thought this is a way to actually tell a story about the Black Panther Party and show the rise of Huey Newton and his journey that took him all the way to Cuba and past, but also to show the convergence of Hollywood. You know, Bert was a regular storyteller, a producer, a child of, you know, exec at Columbia Pictures, the chairman, and he wanted to make change. So what was interesting to me was to show that there was some sort of allyship. He saw that Huey was making change in Oakland. He knew he had no influence on the ideology of the Panthers. That was actually already happening, but he wasn't going to sit back and not, you know, assist in any way he could. And I think that is sort of emblematic of what we all are faced with. You know, when we see something bad happen, do we sit back or do we actually get active and get involved? And I think Huey's story is about revolution and us all trying to revolutionize ourselves and our society.